Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Boys and girls, thanks for coming back to the channel. And if you're not subscribed, please hit that like and subscribe button. Everyone's digging their heels in because there's just no money in the game. I think we know, all of us, at this point in time, that it's pretty clear forward that there's very little money in the game right now. And as I said to you guys, it's not a statement per se to say there is no money. We know that there is money in the games. Teams get paid TV deals, sponsorship deals, and all of that. But teams are also losing, forecasting, and that's really what it is. If you forecast you're going to make 300 million in a year, then you can pay your players, you can pay your staff, you can pay your this and that and whatever, you can forecast profits. But if you take the fact that fans are not going to be there, concessions are not going to be paid for, and we've gone through all this before, then that 300 million projection forecast that you've had is halved. So it's like, say for instance, all of you guys, the company that you work for, are turning over 300 million. Now all of a sudden, if they're only going to turn over 150 million, the company has to make changes. They can't carry on in the same manner and way that they have been in regards to staff count, spending, budget versus profit, and all the above. They can't do that. So they have to ensure that, first of all, they make cuts, and they have to slim down the business to budget, and then they have to change the forecast and stop whatever money that you've got spending, and whatever money that comes in, you've got to hold tight to that money to take you through that period. Well, that's where, in a nutshell, that's where football clubs are right now. And those who have been allowed to spend, like Chelsea, are spending old money. Yeah, agents are getting frustrated because teams are playing hardball. They're no longer adhering to the demands that most teams are making. Thomas Partey right now is the biggest deal out there at the moment, which explains what's going on. And maybe Aura to the point, but Aura is not really in demand. Plus, the Aura deal, they have put the price up by 10 million. So we can't even include them. They're just playing silly bollocks right now. But the Thomas Partey is the one where that deal needs to be done. The players refuse to sign a contract, 2 offers from Atletico. He said he'd rather wait out until they can offer him what they need, because they really don't have the money. And Arsenal have got something on the table which the player has looked at in terms of personal agreement. So the player's saying, yeah, 200 grand a week, I'll take that from Arsenal. I'll accept that. But the only sticking point is Arsenal hasn't met the release clause. Now, here's the deal, guys. This is where agents and teams and everybody are starting to dig their heels in. We've now seen with Fiorentina, Arsenal have dug their heels in with them. So word is that they've pulled out of the deal with Torreira, which actually doesn't bother me too much. As far as I know, Torino were the front runners. They're the ones that were putting up more money up front. It might not have been as much over the long haul in terms of 12 months, but up front, Arsenal will get that 22 million now. Whereas with the Fiorentina deal, they would have got that on the back end last year. So you can see, like, even Arsenal are digging their heels in, which is strange because they really haven't got that many players of value. Torreira, Leno, Guendouzi, Lacazette to a point. Not really, there isn't really much in terms of players' values that they can get for their players. I talked yesterday about the likes of Martinez and things like that. Look, you don't want to waste time with that. Martinez as a starter, he's the one that's helped this club improve. Bert Leno isn't a part of that. So you can afford to sell Bert Leno. And Bert Leno would get you slightly higher at this point in time because he's played for a more consistent period, therefore gives Arsenal more clout in terms of market value. Lacazette, he's on a downturn. He's not improving. His production has been decreasing. So you get the value for him knowing that he's going to be 29 and he's got 2 years left on his deal. And Arsenal cannot profit from keeping him. They can't. He's going to cost you more in the long run, so better you sell him. So those are some ideas of where clubs are just streamlining players, and you'll use those 2 players, Leno and Lacazette, will improve your team if you sell them. There's no doubt about that. Because even if you get 70 to 80 million for selling those 2 players, you can then start to look at bringing Aura and Partey in. And that is where the team is right now. If they do nothing else but just those few deals, that will take them through and make them contenders, as I said yesterday. So overall, it's the agents that are really slowing this process up, because what you got to remember is agents don't really do nothing for the game. They don't really give back to the game like a casino. You know, casino, the house always wins, yeah? They don't really give back into the roots of football. And remember, guys, top agents are still owed hundreds and thousands of pounds from outstanding invoices from recent deals last summer and in January. So these agents are putting pressure on clubs to pay them these fees. And there's a feeling among agents that that a lot of these clubs have got together to discuss these issues to sort of lowball them out of the business. And you can't really do that, but I'm just saying in terms of best practice, there's a lot of underhanded stuff that used to go on with owners, with players. And look, we know that Raul Sally's no longer at Arsenal. Yeah, we know he's no longer here. And there's a few things that happened which these teams are now trying to get together and sort of root out all of this lowballing and all this under table business that the agents have profited from over the years. And I think that we're seeing a big change behind that. You guys on the front level, on the front line, are not really seeing any of these changes, because all you guys are seeing is this team has offered that for that player, this player wants to go to that team, this bid has been turned down. What you're not seeing is the sort of tsunami that's happening underneath the waves, all the access and all the behind closed doors deals that these agents are a part of. That's the stuff right now that is causing a major flux within football. And I think that that is going to show its rear head as time goes on, and it's going to be the sticking point for a lot of deals. And look, you know, clubs have different relationships with different agents, and we've seen that. Some deals go smoothly, some deals don't. And at the end of the day, I think it's a really good idea if agents do refine their business and start to give back to the teams. Agents don't get a lot of sympathy because they make so much money. The fact of the matter is, a lot of good agents work really hard to get deals done and to get players what they want. The other side of it is agents try to deter good players who are actually having good careers at good teams. Look what happened with Ryan Fraser. Ryan Fraser got the wrong advice, decided to not just stand out but leave Bournemouth before the season was even finished, lost out on all of that, forfeited his salary, forfeited his contract, and no team came in for him. Yes, he's been signed up now, but the fact of the matter is he's lost a huge amount of money. Not to mention, when you're on a free, you should dictate a higher salary. He ain't got none of that. So this shows you where a footballer could really be badly advised, and that could cause a lot of pain and heartache in that player's condition. Now, this brings us on to Lacazette. So Lacazette, as we know, has had the verbal agreement, he's had the contract agreement now, and where his sticking point is, you know, the team were offering 250,000 a week, he wanted 300,000 a week, and they found a medium within 275 grand a week. But now everything's done, now the deal has been agreed, the signature is what so Arsenal don't have to do it. Arsenal's just waiting for the player to sign. The player has got enough time to sign. There's no rush for Aubameyang. And there's no rush because the transfer window still has 4 weeks to go. So there's still time to wait for another team that's going to be running in there and saying, we're going to pay you 300 grand a week. What that means to the player is, the player will then say, hey, Arsenal, do you remember that 275 grand a week we agreed on? Well, Inter Milan or Juventus actually want to pay me 300 grand a week. So if you want me to stay, if you can match it, I'll stay. Aubameyang can use that as leverage. And what you're not seeing at the moment is that sort of state of flux that Aubameyang is in. He's trying to get the best deal possible for himself. He wants to ensure that for the rest of his career, he's getting paid the maximum that he's worth. He feels he's worth 300 grand a week. Arsenal probably do, but all they can afford is the balance that they've struck between them, that 275, yeah? And guys, look, at the end of the day, what will be will be. He wants to stay here, but he just wants to make sure he gets the best deal. And that is really it. In a nutshell, Aubameyang's just trying to get what he's worth, and there's nothing wrong with that. And we know where things can go wrong, yeah? Look at the Ozil situation. We know you know what happens when teams overpay players. And in some instances, Arsenal, this new front office, don't want to go down that route. They simply don't want to go down a route where they are putting too much money in for short-term success into a direction. Look, there's a lot of young players that they're going after right now. There's a lot of young players that Arsenal are looking at. Every minute you're hearing that they're chasing down an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old, because they're just trying to make sure that they've got rid of their academy. They've slimmed down their academy structure with scouts. And they're now trying to sort of go through a new wave of using bigger scouting companies to get the best young talent. And if it works for them in the future, only time will tell. What we do know is that this new structure at Arsenal is making moves. And if they get it wrong, guys, I'm sure that they will change it in the future. But as far as Aubameyang, I see Robbie from Arsenal Fan TV sweating every morning when he's doing these videos. But look, there's nothing to sweat about. We know the player wants to stay here. We know the agreement's been done. And the player's just trying to wait out to see what he's actually worth in the market value. And there's nothing wrong with that, guys. Calm down. This will all get sorted unless something drastic happens. Unless something drastic happens, like Barcelona comes out and says, bang, we're going to pay you 350 grand a week. And we want you to be our starter because Suarez and all these other men there are no longer part of the plan. That's what he's waiting for. But in all fairness, it ain't going to happen. Yeah? Ronald Koeman's already trying to run with a structure that they currently have. And this is the reason why Coutinho has been given all these mixed messages. 1 minute they need him, next minute they don't need him. Next minute they're saying every player starts from a clean slate. The next minute they're saying that you might not have any plans in the starting 11 because Messi's coming back. And it's just like, we're just like in this constant flux and we're hearing different things every day. For the fans, for you guys, I'm just saying, be patient. It will all come together. All right, guys, that's all from me. Speak to you guys later. Peace. Right back at you. See you in the next one.